It's not a bad view at all, is it? It's much better than the one we've had for the last few days. So I'm in a hostel at the moment called Zostel. This is the setup. We've got a really big bar and restaurant area here as well, and the facilities here have been fantastic. So before I get into a deep dive on the question that I've posed in the title of this video, I just want to have a little show around just to kind of give you an idea of what this is like. Hostel life in Gokarna. So we've got all the individual dorms here, and I think these house about 6 beds in each. This is just like the staff area. And you see that it's a pretty comfortable little setup. You've got these little sun lounges facing out towards the beach. And I will just show you very quickly into the room that I was staying in. So I'm just going to be quiet a second because I think someone's sleeping. So you can see it's a pretty comfortable little setup. However, this was probably the worst night's sleep I've had in months. Going back a long time, even as bad as the bus on the way here. So I'm going to get into that. I'm going to get into the question posed. I'll have a quick show here of the restaurant. You see it's pretty good actually. They've got a pool table over here. I'm not going to hang around there because they've got music playing. So yeah, let's get out of here and let's get into the question posed. It's a gorgeous bike. I love a motorbike like that. So on the way out, you see that we've got this other business with these cottages here. I think this is another business. I don't think it's the same hostel. But yeah, this is the hostel here. Really actually quite impressed with the facilities. The beds were very comfortable, the bedrooms were very well laid out, and the restaurant was excellent. But, and I'm coming into the topic of the video right now, I just find, and this is my own personal experience, and I'm opening this up for debate rather than opinion, rather than fact, shall we say. It's my opinion, but it's my experience of traveling. But I find that Indians, particularly Indian guys, are very poorly behaved when it comes to staying in hostels. This is the place, Zostel. So this leads down into Gokarna town, but we're going to head up this way today to Kudle Beach and see if we can find a spot on the beach there, hang out there for a day or two. So yeah, I find that Indian lads in particular are very poorly behaved. Their social etiquette when it comes to staying in hostels is pretty bad. And again, I'm not whitewashing across the board, or at least I'm not trying to. You know, I'm not saying that this is every single individual Indian lad, but it's my experience. I've stayed, it's my second hostel now here on this India trip. I typically don't stay in them purely because I like my own personal space. I like to have my laptop out, and I like to charge my things and have all my belongings out. This tree here with all the Hindu photos on. Wonder why they're all just stacked up kind of haphazard. Like, are these offerings, or do they people worship here? I'm not sure. So yeah, I don't typically stay in them because I like my own personal space, and the price point tends to be not that different. I mean, that hostel was £10 per night. The private room I was staying in further up the beach was £10 a night. So you can see that hostel life is not always cheaper, but it is a good way to make friends and socialise. But the 2 hostels that I've stayed in so far in India, and bear in mind I have stayed in many hostels in other parts of the world as well, I typically find that Indian travellers, let's say they maybe get a bit overexcited. Let's put it that way. That's maybe a better way of explaining it. Our Indian travellers, Indian guy travellers, the most overexcited travellers in the world. That's probably a better way of saying it. So last night, let's say I'll just explain what happened. So I go to bed, you know, very quiet. There was no one in the room anyway at the time, but I'm very quiet. I'm packing my things away so there's no mess on the floor. I'm not leaving unnecessary lights on. And I'm just in bed. And this was maybe 10:30. Now at this point, I'm just watching something on my phone, so I'm not sleeping. And then gradually people will start coming in. 2 seconds later, they go back out, slamming the door. And again, and again, and again, and again, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. You know, it used to be a joke when we were kids. On a hot summer's day, you know, we'd all be playing out, and we'd come in the house, we'd look for something, and then we'd be back out, and then we'd be in, and then we'd be out. You know, and my parents would say, "Are you in or are you out? Make your mind up." And it's kind of the similar thing here. You know, in and out, in and out, in and out, slamming the door every time. Anyway, I think it came to 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was still happening. And at this point, they were getting more and more drunk. They're all coming in, talking with each other at full volume, not whispering, not trying to be quiet or considerate of other people in there. Just talking full volume, louder than what I'm talking to you right now. And basically just quite happy to disturb the peace and have no consideration. Right, we've got a bit of a squeeze going on here. Move out of the way. Is he going to make it through without damaging his mirrors? Yeah, it's a girl as well. Oh no, it was a guy. That's the first time I've seen a dog on a lead in India. With all the workers here. The workers, looks like they're setting the concrete for the slab. This is how they do it all over Asia. When they set the concrete slab for each level, they prop it up with wood, or very often it's bamboo. Now, as for the structural durability of those buildings, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I'm not an engineer. I'm not sure how much planning goes into the design, but it seems to be tried and tested. It seems to be the way they build everything, and it seems to be working so far. Anyway, back to my story. So yeah, these Indian lads were coming in, talking full volume, turning the light on, turning it off. Then once they turned the light off, they put the flashlight on their phone, but they were flashing it everywhere and it's going in my eyes. And anyway, at this point, I'm trying to be understanding. You know, these guys are on holiday as well, and I don't want to cause a disruption to their time. So I'm biting my tongue and thinking, right, in a few seconds, they'll sort themselves out. Next thing you know, they're going in the bathroom and they're peeing with the door open. Then they sit down and they carry on drinking. They were drinking whiskey or something. It's just like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So it was driving me absolutely nuts. Now, the facilities in that hostel, they're great actually. I was very impressed. However, I did just book one night. Oh, what's this? Shiva Cave. Should we check this out first? I did just book one night just in case. And I'm glad that I did, because I made a decision very quickly last night that there's no way in hell could I have stayed there for longer, because my sleep was so broken last night. I maybe got a couple of hours of deep sleep, and the rest was just very scattered and a few minutes here and there. Now, other places that I've stayed in, so when I first arrived to India on this trip, and I was in Hyderabad, I got in very late at night, and so I booked myself into a hostel, just because it made no sense checking into a hotel and paying more money for the sake of what would just be a few hours sleep. So I arrive at the hostel, check in, everything's okay. And it was a similar story. People coming into the room at 1 o'clock in the morning, turning the lights on, having conversations at full volume, speaking on the phone, just generally making a racket without any consideration of the other people trying to sleep in the room. Oh, there's a spider's web right in front of me. Am I going to regret this? Let's just double check the map and see how far this is. Let's see. Oh, it's pretty close. Seems like it's just right ahead, so let's keep going. Yeah, so seems to be a running theme. Now, whilst I was in Sri Lanka, the 3 months that I was there prior to this particular trip in the Maldives and in India, I made a lot of friends who were staying in a hostel. And so I would socialise there. And I saw kind of a similar pattern of behaviour, and overexcitedness and eagerness. And I get it. You're on holiday, you want to have fun. But the pattern seemed to be that the Indian guys would drink a little too much, not handle that drink particularly well. And I'm really sorry to say, and again, I'm not trying to label all Indians the same, but again, just my experience in them moments was that they generally make a nuisance of themselves. Two of my friends, two girls, were staying in a dorm, and they were there in the middle of the afternoon. Is this the right way? There's so many spiders up down here. So in the middle of the afternoon, in the dorm room, sat on the bed having a conversation. Oh wow, it's an actual cave. Oh, it's a bit hot. So they're having an actual conversation. It's very dark in there. Right, before we go in, let me just finish my point. So they were having a conversation, and all of a sudden the door burst open. Let's take this bag off. And it was a bunch of Indian guys at the door. And they had no reason to be in that room, they weren't staying in there. So they were in shock, and they looked at these guys and they said, something we can help you with? And they were, oh, we're just exploring the hostel, we're just looking around. We're just seeing what the other rooms are like. And so the girls were like, okay, strange, but all right. And then anyway, one of them just kept on lingering at the door, like wasn't actually going away. So they're looking at this guy like, what do you want? And he says, well, I just wanted to talk with you. And they're like, we're trying to have a conversation. And he's like, yeah, but like, can I come and sit on the bed with you? And the girls are like, well, we'd rather you didn't. And he says, but it's my last day. When they were telling me this story, I was like, pretty unbelievable. So this guy was saying it was his last day, and because it was his last day, he felt like he ought to be owed the right to come and sit on the bed with them and talk with them, even though they didn't know who he was. Anyway, so this went back and forth for a few minutes until eventually they had to say, like, can you leave, please? Like, can you please just come out of our space and go back to your own room, to your own area or whatever? Because the guy was just like not going away. So let's have a little look in here. Oh wow, I wonder how old this is. Like, this is definitely the kind of place where people would be living. I think we might need a torch here. Let's get the torch on my phone. Okay. Right, let's see. Where's my sunglasses? Oh wow. I mean, the torch is not doing anything, is it? Hope you can actually see. Oh wow, it goes all the way in. It's actually very creepy. It's dead silent.
little bit freaked out. Oh, it's got very warm all of a sudden. What's that? Wow, look at the light coming through. Wow. So they must obviously worship here. Someone's been in here. Wow, that light coming through there is fantastic. What's in here? Whoa, wow. You stand in this spot here right underneath and you just feel the change in temperature. Just feels so much cooler. What's in there? I don't want to stand on here though. Carry on. Wow. I really hope the GoPro is actually picking some of this up because it's very dark in here. Wow. I wonder how old this is. Not only how old the cave is, because this could be ancient, but how long people have been using it for and how long there's been a cave, a temple in here for. Wow. You know, if you were... Oh my god. You scared me then. You scared me. Did you pick my my sunglasses?
I keep it here.
Ah, perfect.
Fall down.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much. Oh god. You scared the life out of me, turning around like looking for ghosts, and then saw a man there. Right, let's turn this flashlight off. The time is currently 10 o'clock and it must be already close to 30 degrees. I'm not joking. Very, very hot. The place was really cool. Really, really cool. So yeah, if you were a Neolithic, or prehistoric, or whatever the word is for, you know, the ancient men and women as well, of course, that would have been the perfect little place to sleep. It reminds me of there was a place I went to in Spain. What was the name of it? I'll put the name at the bottom because I forget. But it was a cave in northern Spain, in the Basque country, where they discovered all these cave paintings from thousands of years ago. There was people living in there during the ancient times. So it reminds me kind of that. That would be, you know, the perfect little spot, wouldn't it? Imagine you're just trawling the land, constantly living out in the open, the danger of wild animals, and then you find a little cave. So I'm kind of going off my topic, aren't I? Let's get out of here and then we'll continue our talk. Wonder what they're doing out there. You got the steamroller out in the middle of the field. I wonder if that's a cricket field, just like a local one, you know. Maybe they're trying to keep the... Wow, you see that little... Is that a kingfisher or a hummingbird or something? Oh, it's going to be way too small for the GoPro. There, you see it? What that is. Yeah, I wonder if that's like a little local cricket field or something. Really hot right now. I'm hot, I'm hungry, I've not had any breakfast. I just wanted to get out of that hostel. Right, I'll continue this in a minute. I'm not in a good mood. I'm not putting my words out properly. Kudle Beach, this way. Let's keep going. So from the hostel, the Zostel hostel that I was staying in, it seems to be that this beach is maybe a 15-minute walk, something like that. Might be a little bit longer, but it's kind of in that time frame. Now, on this topic that we're talking about, I don't want to say that everyone's innocent. You know, other nationalities, I mean. I know, for instance, like British people, you know, we have a pretty bad reputation all around the world. But, you know, certainly in a lot of places in Europe, for example, for over drinking and generally being boisterous and making fools of ourselves and being a nuisance to the local area. You know, I know that firsthand. He's morning brekkie. I know that firsthand from spending a lot of time in Spain, you know, and I've actually seen it firsthand. So a lot of a lot of the blame, or a lot of the nuisance caused by people, it's different nationalities, you know. British have got their hand in it, and so have other countries, but certainly so far, just talking specifically hostel life, and specifically really, it's never really down to the individual, it's usually groups of boys. But when you get a group of Indian lads together in a hostel, they seem to be the ones who are the least considerate. That's the way I'm going to put it. So what's your opinion? You know, where you've travelled to and the hostels that you've stayed in, and which nationality or which group of people or whatever do you tend to find the ones who are the hardest, the biggest struggle to be around? Right now I'm operating on very, very little sleep. I'm really struggling right now, I won't lie. What's he selling here? Jewellery, earrings and necklaces. Anyway, at this point, I've maybe recorded about 20 videos, not just in India, but from the Maldives as well. And I've edited a total of 0 of them. So what these actually look like, how they've come out, I don't know. I should maybe get started on that today, really, and we've made it to the beach. Wow. Very nice. Yeah, now this is a lot more personal than Gokarna Beach. Gokarna Beach is this enormous stretch. It kind of goes for like many kilometers actually. But here it's more of a kind of like a cove. It reminds me of some of the beaches in Sri Lanka actually. There's a beach in Sri Lanka called, well, a town, Hiriketia. And it's kind of in a bay, in a cove, kind of like this. That's a little bit more developed. This seems to be very, very quiet. Just a few businesses down here. Seems very easygoing. This is nice. The guy surfing in the water. Fella here contemplating life by the looks of it. It looks like a nice little place to swim and hopefully find somewhere to stay. So yeah, we're very happy with this. Now my plan here, I'd ideally like to stay here maybe for a day. I want to get into the habit of kind of moving a little bit quicker. You know, 3 months in Sri Lanka, all basically on the south coast. It's given me a thirst now for getting my arse in gear and moving a bit faster. So Kudle Beach, I'd like to stay here for a day. Maybe tomorrow, possibly even today, I'll explore and I'll go around the hill for a hike to a beach called Om Beach. It's called Om Beach apparently because it looks like the Om symbol from above. So I want to go and explore that. I would, as I've just said, like to spend some time catching up with the work that I need to do to edit these videos so you can actually one day see them. And then we'll start planning the next move. I think from Gokarna, I'm going to head up to Goa. I haven't decided where in Goa yet. Goa is actually a big place. For those of you that haven't been, it's easy to say it and make it sound like a town, but Goa is a state. So it encompasses many towns. When I was there last year, I primarily stayed in Arambol, which is in the north of Goa. In fact, it's the very north of Goa. Hello, how are you? What are you selling? Jewelry.
Yeah.
It's very nice. I don't need any right now, but maybe I will come and see you later.
Okay. Your channel name?
It's the Wonder Life. The Wonder Life. Okay, good man. Where was I? So I'm going to go to Goa. Not decided where yet. I don't even know how to get there, whether it's going to be a bus. I think you can get the train. That would be nice, just to do something different. And then again, just spend a few days there. And then I want to work my way north. Ideally, 100% I will go to Kolkata. However, whether that will be at the end of the trip or next, I'm not sure. I'd really like to go to Ladakh, other areas near the Himalayas. But right now, it is winter in India, and despite what you see here being very hot, the further north you go, the colder it gets. And so up in them northern areas, you're talking negative temperatures, very, very, very cold, probably lots of snow. In Ladakh, I believe that a lot of the roads are probably closed or not accessible. And there is another area in the northeast which borders Bhutan. That's been recommended to me, and it would be fantastic by the sounds of it. So possibly we'll make that work. But yeah, this is Kudle Beach. I'm going to leave it here, and I'll show you more of this beautiful place in the next video. Ciao.